Had this delivered. I just had this delivered from Arizona, and I bought probably I don't know how many different project cars out of state, and also that truck I bought from Georgia a long time ago. Got one of my bucket trucks I bought from Arizona. I bought stuff literally all over the United States, and I'm going to kind of walk you guys through how I do it, and so you guys get a little bit more information and a lot of bus projects I bought out of state. And I'm going to talk to you guys about this stuff so that you can figure it out on your own and kind of give you a little bit of a guiding hand so you guys can see how that I've done it, so you can maybe do it for yourself. Because I found like that particular truck I got for about half of the market they are in California, and it was like brand new when I got it. So hang on, let's go inside the garage. It's not raining. So I'm gonna go over some of the stuff that you guys need to know when you're doing this. One of the things when I'm buying a newer car, I will almost always go through a dealer or through eBay or someplace like that. Usually they have some kind of recourse that if the car gets here and it's like totally misrepresented, that there's some way to have recourse. So if you're dealing with a dealership, like when I bought the Chevy truck, I was dealing with a small dealership. At least they had a license, so they have to maintain some sort of standard. And whenever you buy something out of state or you can't see sight unseen, expect to see things maybe that aren't quite as good as what you see in the pictures. So you've got to become really, really good at scanning the pictures, zooming in, looking at everything. Like if you're looking at buses, you really want to look at the rust and stuff like that really closely. Sometimes if it's really rusted, I won't even buy it because it's too much of a risk. It's because there is a risk every time you do that. You buy it online. So there's a few things that also you have to be looking at is potential of fraud. Like if somebody could just say that they have a bus for sale, have fake pictures, and you might find out that it's not even a real bus and you've sent money and you don't get your money back. It's gone. There is that risk as well. I'm going to show you guys how to eliminate, or not eliminate, but minimize some of those risks a little bit. That's one of the reasons that I go through a business when I'm buying a car, because I know that a business is more than likely, I can look up their business license number and make sure that it's currently licensed with that state on a .gov website. You can't fake that, okay? You can fake websites, but the .gov stuff, pretty good. So that's one of the ways I do it. So for instance, one of the buses I bought, not this one, but one of the ones I bought was in Joplin, Missouri. So I look for things like this. I'm going to give you an example. Joplin, Missouri is a major truck route. I'm going to find a carrier that's going to pick it up. If I was in like Indiana, probably not. If I was in like Wisconsin, probably not going to find a carrier. These are types of things you learn after a time. You're not going to find somebody to go pick it up. You're going to have to go out and get it yourself. So when I found the bus, it was in Joplin, Missouri. The first thing I looked up is I said, hey, just send me the address real quick. I want to verify a couple things. So he sends me the address. I could do Google Earth the street. I can look inside and I can see, a lot of times I can see the pictures of the bus, where it was at, line up with the house. So and sometimes I'll ask them, okay, can you take a picture of the bus in front of the house? They know what I'm doing. Usually they know what I'm doing. I'm going to verify that with Google Earth so I know that it's a legit place. The bus was actually at that location. So that's going to minimize the risk a bit. Now, it's still not going to make sure that the guy could be just fraud. But more than likely, you're looking at a pretty legit situation at that point. The other thing I did with this guy is he had a sandblasting business. So I go on the .gov website. He's licensed in that state, verified it. I know that he's a legit guy. More than likely, he's not going to be doing fraud when he has a business. So those are the types of things you can check on. A friend of mine got a $30,000 bus, got a restored 57 bus for or 58 bus, I don't know which year it was, for $32,000. And that was a really good deal for a press bumper bus, complete with all the seats and everything. So a lot of people wouldn't try and buy that bus because it was at a car shop. Well, he looked up the car shop, figured out that on the .gov website, the car shop was legit. The pictures were at the car shop. He could verify that. So he knew pretty much that it was a legit deal. So those are the types of ways that I've done it in the past. Sometimes I can't do that, and then maybe I'll take the risk, maybe not. Depends on, I'm gonna have some way that I'm secured. PayPal is one way to do that too, because they actually have a trace and the money goes to a bank account. And then sometimes when it's like, for instance, like the bug, the 60 rag top bug that I bought, which was really rusty, I could see it was really, really rusty, and I really wanted to verify how bad the rust was and where it was to make sure that it was a good enough deal for me to buy. So I actually went to Arizona because I was already going there and saw the car, and that's when I purchased it. So you don't always have to go to see it in person if you can see good enough photos and you're really good at if they've got, you can ask them, can you take a bunch of photos underneath? I want every angle, and then just shoot them on over to me so I can, know what I'm buying. And usually they're pretty good about that. Most of them are. The ones that aren't, probably, there's issues that they don't want to show you. So then, you say, oh, it's, you're just taking the risk. Don't do that. Figure out what you're getting. And the other thing that I'll look at whenever I buy a project car is I'll inventory all the parts. I'll go through and I'll go, okay, it's got two headlights. It's got a emblem on the front. It's got both fried eggs. It's got the steering wheel. It has the speedometer. I'll inventory in my head, and that will also help me calculate value. So as far as if it's missing front and rear bumper, I know that that's $1,000. If it's missing all the seats, I inventory that stuff. I'll inventory the interior parts that are missing that I have to purchase, engine and metal, and all the metal parts that need to be replaced. They're not cheap. So you have to inventory all that and figure out, okay, this is how much it's worth it to me. And sometimes you're not going to meet eyes to eye with the guy selling it. So, because that's typical today. That's why I'm not buying any more buses. So anyway, those are a couple of things to do when you're buying something out of state. Now, as far as carriers go, one of the things you need to know if you're buying a bus out of state is it needs to be usually a roller. And if the emergency brake works, that really helps for the carrier to want to pick it up. And because sometimes you're going to have to tell them, you call up a carrier and you say, hey, how much to pick this up? And then you're going to tell them, hey, the e-brake doesn't work. They need to know that. If you're not disclosing that to them, a driver's going to go out there to go pick it up, and he's going to be very mad, and he's not going to pick up the bus. So you need to tell them it's a roller, it's got good tires, marginal tires, they hold air, and it doesn't have emergency brake. And some of the guys won't pick them up because of that. So keep that in mind. The other thing, when it comes to shipping, a lot of them want to charge you an upfront fee to lock you in. And, they say, hey, well, we only charge you $250 today, and we don't even have a carrier for your bus yet, but we want to lock you in, get your $250 or $150. And then how it works is, so they might even be the lowball bidder. So they might put up that, oh yeah, I can find a shipper for you for $850 from back east. Probably not going to happen, but let's just say that they did. They put on $850 and they said, and then they say, oh yeah, it's a $250 fee. And then when we find a carrier, whatever, they say so much up front. And then when they find a carrier, there's more money they got to charge you. I usually stay away from those type of shippers. Usually the ones that I get, I deal with the one person, and I can't find her number anywhere. I was going to post it on here. She takes my information. She would look up, find a carrier. When she found a carrier, she would charge my card for the deposit. When she got a carrier that says, yeah, I can pick it up. So that's when, and then, because that's how they get paid. They get paid that fee. The driver usually gets the fee that he gets unless you're using UShip. I would not typically use UShip, okay, because UShip has a 25% driver fee. So you pay your fee up front, whether they pick it up or not. Then when the driver picks up the car and he gets it, UShip charges him 25%. So it's really price heavy to the company, in my opinion. So I typically don't use those guys because of that reason. But I did find a really good driver once by using them. So I'll tell you who he is in a minute. So if you're traveling, if you're getting cars anywhere from Texas, between Texas and California, vice versa, or Oklahoma and California, this is the guy to call. Get a quote from him directly. That will eliminate all those fees. You can actually just hire him direct. He does those trips all the time. He also does work for a lot of different shipping companies. But the thing that's cool is he has a enclosed trailer that he pulls with a pickup. And it's 32 foot, so you can get 2 cars in it. And he also picks up smaller things and puts them between them. I mean, he does all kinds of stuff. He's very, very, but you don't have to go all the way from Texas to California. You can be inside Texas somewhere. You can be between Phoenix and California, or Albuquerque, or Oklahoma City to Texas, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just anywhere in that area, he does pick up and delivery. Take his number down. German guy. He understands German cars. Very cool guy. Super nice. Very, very honest. Like right now, his truck broke down. He didn't try and stroke me and tell me, hey, my truck's, I'll just be there in a couple days late. He's like, no, my truck's broke down right now, but I have a guy out there who can pick that up for you. And that's when I had my lift delivered by him. So he does whatever, anything, all kinds of shipping. If you need parts piles. The cool thing about a guy like him is, let's say you find a bus project in Texas and you're in California. You can tell him, hey, look, there's a bus project in Texas. I'll pick it up. It's got it's got tires on it. I don't know how good it rolls, but he has a winch. You can get in there if you can help him get it out. Then what you do is he can, let's say there's a parts pile 200 miles away from that you want to have him pick up. Maybe it's the parts for the bus. You could actually tell him, could you go pick up that parts pile too? And for an extra fee, of course, the loading fee and a fee of reasonable fees that cover that, he could actually get the parts, put them inside the bus because they're already in his enclosed trailer. He has a 32-foot enclosed trailer, and have all that stuff delivered. So those are some really cool options, where if you hired a regular shipping company to bring it, they're pretty much not going to do that. And if you get a large car carrier company and it's a rural area, he's not going to go. He's going to get over there, see the dirt roads. He's going to go, no way, I'm not doing it. So those are the type of things that you have to be thinking about when you're buying a project, is look at where it is and see if you'll be able to get a carrier to pick it up. Find an honest shipper as far as the car carrier shippers go that isn't going to charge you a fee up front, and they're not going to charge you until they actually have a driver for the load. So, because how it works is, let me just give you this back up again. How it works is, let's say they bid it too low. They tell you $850. No driver in the world is going to pick it up for $850. And that's including their $125 fee. What they do is they'll post it for that price, and it'll just sit there for weeks, 2-3 weeks or whatever. and no drivers are picking it up. Then they call you back and they say, hey, no drivers are picking it up. So how you want to handle this? You want to raise the fee up to $1,200, which is what everybody else wanted. All right, they bait and switch, and then try and get it, or are you just gonna not have it shipped, and then they don't give you a refund for that money. So maybe you'll go through a different carrier. You'll find a guy like Frank who'll go pick it up. So those are the types of things you have to watch out for when you're doing it, and watch out for the fraud. So there's the shipping guys do bait and switch, and the fraud in the field guys selling fake buses. It's out there, fake bugs. So those are the kind of things you can look into. If you have major dirt roads to go into the place, you're not going to get a carrier to pick that up. Not unless they're going to, deliver it to an address to be picked up. And you have to make that deal with the person selling the car. So anyway, just a couple pointers there to get you guys going if you're going to try and do it. I've done it countless amount of times. I can't even remember how many times I've bought out of state and had stuff shipped over. And I've never had a problem. I mean, I've had a lot of times in condition wise, if I look at something, it's always 20 to 30% worse than what you see in the photos, at least. So keep that in mind when you're bidding the bus or whatever. If you're looking at one, you see a couple pinholes in the floor, figure, oh, that's all going to have to come out. It's going to be a lot worse when you get it there. And, bid it accordingly. Don't, figure that, oh, that's going to be no big deal when you get it back. Also, the color of the rust. So if you look at the rust and it's really, really red, figure that's going to be really bad. If it's brown, black, more than likely it's a little more dormant. That means it's not been just rusting like hell for many years. So those are the types of things to look for in your pictures when you look at it. You have to be very good at scanning pictures. And like I said, they're not going to pick a picture of every rust hole in the whole thing. You're going to find rust holes in areas that you're going to go, holy crap, how am I going to fix that when you get it home? And you just got to be good. That's all there is to it. So that's how I do it, and that's what I've done, and I've never really gotten screwed. I mean, I did have one that was a lot worse than I thought, and I expected that. So don't put your expectations really high when you're buying a rusty project. Don't expect, oh, it's not going to be as bad as what I think. Figure it's going to be a lot worse, and then when you get it, you find out that it's not as bad. That's a good thing. So instead of being a negative, it's a positive. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.